Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Partout. Joining me today is...
Geek for fun.
And a Steve for boredom.
And we are here today to do a Geeky Gentleman top 10 lists. And everyone knows that the way you count to 10 is you count to 3 and do an honorable mention each. That's how Geeky Gentlemen count to 10.
By counting, so really what you're saying is like we each count to 1 to 3 times, and that's 10.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Complete logical sense.
Anyway.
None of us have degrees in math.
Anyway.
None of us are accountants.
Steve, what are we listing today?
Today, ending off year 2 and heading into year 3 of this oh-so-lovely pandemic that we have found ourselves in, I thought it would be fun to have a list of our top 10 comfort media that got us through this terrible, terrible time to be a human being.
Yep.
So, you know, just fun things. The pandemic thing was on my mind a little bit because you guys have definitely felt this because you're nerds, and so you inhabit nerdy spaces. But like the prices for collectibles have skyrocketed. The people who have come in on old hobbies has skyrocketed. Like baseball cards and Pokemon cards are going for astronomical prices compared to what they used to go for. The turnaround time on getting like collectibles graded has gone to like it used to be like 2 months for like a Pokemon card. It now takes like 6 or 7 months for a Pokemon card to get graded. Like the sheer number of people during the pandemic who have gone back into old hobbies has created such a massive run on all of these hobby markets that it's impossible for any of the manufacturers of these things to keep up in the slightest, which is a pretty funny and also a pretty terrible problem. So in playing into that problem, let's talk about all of the things we've been mindlessly consuming for 3 years.
Yep. Why don't you start us off then, Steve, since it's your topic?
Okay, do we start with 3 or do we start with honorable mention?
We should start with the honorable mention, I feel.
Start with the honorable mention?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that works for me. Honorable mention is going to be something that I never really stopped doing. It just kind of picked up more with the pandemic, just because I was bored more often. But playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically playing modern competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And not like old school format Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's a game that's really fucking complicated and really fucking expensive. And I got back into modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And like learned modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Around 2019, which is probably the cheapest it's been in like a decade at this point. It's like that was probably the best spot to get in. For reference, and these words will mean nothing to you, Ian, but at the time I was getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, every deck was running 3 copies of Called by the Grave and 3 copies of Ash Blossom, and if you wanted to get either one of those cards, they were around $5 to $10. So you'd have to spend anywhere from like $30 to $60 to get a playset of both, and at that time that seemed pretty expensive, but I promise you, now that's actually pretty reasonable. If someone gave me an Ash Blossom for $5 right now, I would grab it up. Because now it's closer to like $15 to $20, I think, to get like a good condition Ash Blossom. So we have gotten to a massive apex of then. So I started when it was a little bit cheaper, and have now continued in as it's gotten way more expensive and definitely outside of my budget control. But it's been fun playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh because the games are so fucking explosive. There's a lot of things you can do and mess with legacy support stuff that have been fun. My friend's about to get a new Crystal Beast deck, which is cool because Crystal Beast haven't had support in years. There are some fun Cyber Dragon cards I've been messing with. Blue Eyes is fucking good again because Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is just an obscenely powerful card for no fucking reason. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer for a little while there was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean the last couple years, the last few formats of Yu-Gi-Oh, I think have been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying playing that. And Alfie and I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh back and forth a little bit this year too, which has always been nice.
And I'm glad you brought it up because Yu-Gi-Oh was going to be my honorable mention as well. So we kind of
Nice.
squeeze this into a thing completely, leave Ian crying in the corner. But no,
It's okay. I have the heart of the cards.
That's hard, yeah, it was something for me as well that I managed to do a little bit more. I always do Yu-Gi-Oh like kind of off and on because I mostly just play online because I don't have the money to buy cards. So
They're really fucking expensive.
I just use the free program, and it's like, again, why would I buy the cards when I don't play with anyone near me? So like, unless I'm in America with Steve, there's really no point in me investing in the money for the cards when I could just play online for free and actually have some games. So I've been using like Dueling Nexus or Ignis or something. And something I want to shout out here for Yu-Gi-Oh! That I don't see with any other card game, and that can be Pokemon, that can be Magic, that can be even like Monopoly or Uno or like any kind of like physical trading card game that would like have an online version of it. There are like paid versions for all those things, but the interface is always kind of lame, like Magic the Gathering Online or Pokemon TCG. Yu-Gi-Oh, like it has one now, like it's called Master Duel, but it's kind of just like the same as the rest of them. But the fan base for Yu-Gi-Oh made like open source like engines and free like there's so many different choices of like program to play Yu-Gi-Oh online with your friends and have every single card for free that is like continuously updated. You don't have to pay a single cent because it's just the community that makes it, and it's not just like, oh, there's one everyone uses. There's like 5 different sourced ones by different people that have overlap, but like the card images will be rendered in like 4K upscaled. You'll get like Japanese text. You'll have some programs that have like the anime cards that are added into it, like custom made. You'll have the latest program called Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, where like I guess they must have just had someone really good at Photoshop on the team where they've implemented like the holograms. So when you place down a card, a PNG of the card that will be slightly animated will appear over it and be like really clean. But like there's no like backlog of like Yu-Gi-Oh card free art that like isn't connected to the cards. Konami is very, very strict about how they release that art. They don't even allow that artist to be credited at Konami. Like it's all just, you don't know who did what. So the fact that these fans have like got out of the way and cut out thousands of highly detailed Yu-Gi-Oh cards for
over
an online
10,000, yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So like, Yu-Gi-Oh players, you guys don't shower, you guys reek, you guys steal each other's cards at tournaments. But man, you fuckers really go hard with this, so congrats. You really pulled out.
The way the Yu-Gi-Oh emulators understand complex rulings better than fucking Konami does sometimes, it's fucking insane. Like I don't understand half of the rulings the way the games seem to sometimes, and that's kind of depressing. But like if you meet your average Yu-Gi-Oh player, they do not read their cards, so we kind of need it.
Yet another anime fan base that doesn't know how to read. I love it.
Another fan base in general that doesn't know how to read.
And this is becoming a growing problem. Illiteracy in media has been destroyed by the Japanese.
See, so just for reference, I did want to pull up the facts of this matter while I brought it up. But when I bought Ash Blossom, like I said, it was about $5 a card. Right now, if you try to get a copy of Ash Blossom, it's about $18 to $20 a copy, and you need 3. Lightning Storm is about $55, but it's about to have a reprint that's brought it down to $22. So that's pretty good, but Flashback like 2 months and it was like $90. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, this is my last one. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, right before Anaconda got banned, was capped at about $135. And now that Anaconda's banned and it's getting a reprint, it's down to $10.
I really hate the idea of banned cards. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, but that's because you don't play card games.
Yeah, I know, but it just like sounds punk ass. Every time I hear anything talk about it, I'm just like, y'all just not even fucking playing the game then. You guys are playing like the, you know, in like fucking Playground rules, it's like, okay, well, you're not allowed to go over here to hide because it's too difficult. I'm like, ah, you fucking bitch. Just fucking hate it. Every time I just hear about it and I'm like, oh, so it's not even the real game. It's not the way the game was meant to be played.
I will take you up on this, and one day we will play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
On one of those emulators with no ban list.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just play Exodia Turbo and have one copy of each Exodia piece and nothing but draw spells. And just win the game by going first.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay. Sounds good.
And the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically, like other card games have this, but because Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't...
Why not just make a card that can beat Exodia? Why? What the fuck? Like, I don't understand why this is so hard.
The game?
Yeah.
That's gonna super fucking specific. But like, so you know, like Magic the Gathering Pokemon, what they'll do is like every year or like every year and a half, they'll rotate out like the format. So packs past this certain date, like cards that were released past this certain date can't be used anymore, and cards from this certain date onwards are all you can use, kind of thing. So basically, what that does is older cards can't be used competitively anymore. So any of those that were like really big problem cards kind of like get reset, or they just release like new versions of it that are legal, and it kind of keeps like the card pool limited, and it means that there isn't going to be like a card that was made in like 1997 isn't going to be completely broken because it interacts with like the different way the game is played now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't do that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, every single card that's ever been printed is fine. So if you're gonna have that amount of backlog, you kind of do need to just like the way the game was played was different. So there are going to be some cards that were just designed for a different kind of game than are now. So if they're still allowed, it's kind of like the best way I could explain it is like, say if like you made a remastered version of a video game, but there was like a glitch from like the earlier part of the game that like froze it, and if you were going to remaster that game, you probably want to take that out because it doesn't let you play the game anymore. It's probably the best way to look it up.
Just make Dark Exodia. Boom. Problem solved.
Exodia Black.
Exodia Black. There we go.
They have though, yeah. There's like 5 of those.
Good.
Exodia Necros, baby.
Let's just fucking use that. That card can beat Exodia. There you go.
He's awful. He's awful.
The
though.
card,
He's like a
the
really
card
bad
that
card.
tells you. Let me explain Exodia Necros and why it's so bad real quick here, okay? Exodia wins you the game, okay? You draw all 5 pieces of Exodia, you win the game. Exodia Necros says, take all 5 pieces of Exodia that win you the game and send them to your graveyard to summon a beat stick instead. It's literally the worst idea for a card anyone's ever had. It's the Vegeta of cards. It's the cell charge up to maximum of cards.
So I see, you just don't want to beat him at his best. Like a punk.
That one you can win the game.
Yeah, you're not a true Saiyan, Steve Baxi. You disappoint me. Alright. So if that's the honorable mention from the both of you, I'm just gonna go with like the more general honorable mention for me. The media thing that I did during the pandemic that, like, I'm such a unique, special butterfly. I watched a lot of TV. Caught up and just consumed a lot of media. Rewatched all of new Doctor Who. with starting with Christopher Eccleston and going up from there. Decided, that's not enough, and started watching classic Doctor Who. Rewatched a bunch of shows, watched a shit ton of Disney. Ever since Leah's been born, rewatched shows from my youth, watched some of Gargoyles, watched some of Spider-Man, the 90s series. Just went down a big either nostalgia trip or just I've been wanting to check this thing out for a long time. And I think everyone kind of did this. The joke in the early days of the pandemic was, well, Netflix stock is going way up, right? You needed something to do to fill the time. You couldn't go out, and so what do? You just watch television. And that's, I sometimes think that despite my attempts to joke about being superior to others or genuinely just try to say, no, I try to be as humble as possible and just admit my faults, I sometimes fear that it doesn't come off and I sound superior. But trust me, I felt like I wasted all that free time we had in the pandemic watching television too. And you know what? I don't really know a way around to fix it. I just did. I just consumed television. That was my main go-to, and still is. I'm still working my way through classic Who. Side note, Patrick Troughton deserves to come back from the dead and bitch slap the BBC for losing probably 80% of his era as the Doctor. It's crazy. I'm on his last season now. I know War Games is his last story, and I'm getting closer and closer to it. And I'm like, I feel like this dude just got here, and I'm still getting to know him as the Doctor. This sucks. So that's really unfortunate. Outside of that, just television. I watched a lot of TV.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. The Doctor Who thing's been especially interesting because it to track your progress. Where Ian had watched all of Modern Who, and then it was doing a rewatch of that, and it's kind of I was getting to see his thoughts real time and talk to him about it, and discuss it and give him behind the scenes facts and stuff. But now, since he started doing more of the audio drama stuff and the classic Who, he's now consumed more Doctor Who than I have. So now he gets to tell me about the classic stuff. It's been a very interesting, cool little passing of the torch as he's become now the resident Doctor Who dude. Because any trivia and facts I could give you, I've already told Ian over call for 5 hours, so he could do it too now.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, the time master.
Yeah. Ooh.
I feel like I've regenerated into you.
Yeah.
Just people change. It's good. You gotta keep moving.
No, don't even start that fucking speech, or I'm gonna fucking start bawling.
It's funny. I just finished I finished the Mind Robber Troughton story, which was kind of fun. They're trapped in a world of fiction. But it's funny because they keep talking to the characters that are just the fucking chances for fan edits is so great here because they keep talking to characters well, the master says this. The master, just to hear Patrick Troughton say the words, the master, is so fucking cool. Before the character exists. So there's just a novelty to that of man, if you want to make a good fan trailer, there's your episode to go to. And other than that,
number 3s, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead, start us off, Steve. Number 3.
All right. So I mentioned this a little bit beforehand, but aside from my number 1, everything on this list is kind of interchangeable, including the honorable mention. So honorable mention 3 and 2 can kind of go in any order. But to kind of piggyback off of you, Ian, actually, I'm not going to say TV in general, but I did a rewatch of all of modern Doctor Who. So Doctor Who has been a fun little comfort food also, because it's so antithetical to all other franchise media, and we've all talked about this for ages when we were doing the the Doctor Who multi-Doctor story reviews, which was a lot of fun. But going through all of modern Who and seeing in real time how Doctor Who as a concept is actually the greatest idea anyone has ever had. That stops it from becoming the sort of stale, monotonous nostalgia bait that everything else kind of naturally transforms into, and how every final Doctor speech kind of leaves you understanding what their era was about without feeling the need to like retread on that material in the future. All of that, like especially now, hits way more than I think it has in a very very long time. Because I go through phases with Doctor Who. There'll be like a 6 month period where I'm obsessed with it, and then for like 2 years I will forget it exists. So I'm exactly like the BBC basically. So I am in that phase where I'm loving Doctor Who, and I can't shut up about Doctor Who to the people who will listen to me. So I'm very excited to have more of it coming soon. Eventually, I'm definitely more excited about it than anyone else seems to be. Not you guys, because you actually like Doctor Who, but I mean anyone who seems to be working on the show at this point. But it'll be nice to have RTD back. I'm excited for a new Doctor. Rewatching all of the Matt Smith stuff has been a joy and a comfort, and so sad. And then watching all of 12 was a lot of fun to experience that in the proper way. And then we don't talk about Jodie.
Poor Django.
I like Jodie's stuff by and large. Like in the moment, it's just the stuff that like it's just the fact that it doesn't like stick in your mind is so bizarre. I was sitting there the other day and I was like, you know, there's like Yaz and there's fucking what's his name and shit what's his name. And I was like, what the fuck? I can't remember two of the companions that are there for like the majority of her stuff. Holy shit. It is kind of impressive how much of it like just leaves your brain, but I don't know. It's got its
Jodie's
moments.
stuff definitely does not binge well, and I think she's a great Doctor. I just feel like she's never in that show really given a moment to truly shine. And then she has that one arc where they explain the history of regeneration, and she's given a lot of acting material there when she figures out her like quote unquote origins. But it's also the stupidest idea ever. So like your mileage really varies. Like, okay, finally, Jodie gets a story that really like defines her as the Doctor. Too bad it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, like it's a shame. It really is, because that was the moment, like, because Ian's talked about this, or like Capaldi, after the 50th and the Capaldi era, the love of the show kind of fell off a bit. Like, it wasn't getting headlines anymore. The general public just weren't there for it anymore. Once Smith left, it was kind of like, okay, time to move on. But when Jodie was announced, there was a huge push. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was feeling, and like this era of effectively women versus the internet, if you were gonna like dub it, like seems like the perfect time for like the Doctor Who to like really kind of own that that staple of really kind of being like, our character isn't even really a woman. Our character is genderless. Our character is an alien creature that has these other things, but we can use this to tell new stories. We can use this to talk about the way things are perceived, but we can also keep the character the extremely flawed, mad, wonderful, living creature that is the Doctor. And all that foundation is there. All you had like the way to really kind of they upped the budget. It looks really good. Like as a TV show, like the Chibnall era is like shot really well compared to like earlier Doctor Who. Like it looks like a step up from the Smith and Capaldi stuff, like visually. And they had a lot more money to spend. But it's just there's nothing there. There's like it's so forgettable that in this wave where Doctor Who kind of could have been like this kind of big dick swinging statement, or even not even necessarily just by a statement by wanting to be one, but just by its existence kind of proving the rule and kind of paying off this thing that people have been asking for a female Doctor since the idea of regeneration was introduced. People asked if they could transform into a girl. And then to have that kind of just be such kind of a wet fart and kind of just be like, oh, that happened. That feels so... It feels like we really kind of fucking screwed the pooch on that one. Like we had it. We had the world by the balls again. We really could have pushed it, and then they did like anti-marketing to where the people you know who marketed the Jodie era of Doctor Who the most? The fucking bigots who complained about it. They were the only ones making videos about it. No one else fucking talked about it. So, like, really, they were probably the only guys keeping it fucking alive, which is incredibly sad and ironic. But like, you'll get these fucking 13th Doctor fucking SJW shit, where she's like the most right-wing doctor we've ever fucking had.
It's
And,
not
like,
the systems that are bad; it's the people.
like it's just so.
It's-
What a weird time to live in. Like, what a weird time. And I hope Jodie gets a good send off. At the very least. And I hope she's in the 60th at the very least.
Mhm.
And I hope she gets a kick-ass fucking big finish run.
You know, she
I
is
hope
the
so.
golden
She deserves
child
it.
for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She deserves it. She deserves to be the new 8, the new 6. The one where like people say, "Oh no, don't won't watch the version of her on screen. Listen to the audios." Oh my god, the Jodie audio. Someone would hear in like 15 years time. I want to be recommending the Jodie audio to people.
It's interesting because there's a lot of moves. Like, I have the same thing with the Jodie era that I do with like Zack Snyder's DCEU. It's like everything on paper, I'm like pretty much, yeah, that's brilliant. Go for it. Like going with Jodie and going with like the more diverse cast for the companions in the TARDIS and going with like some more socially conscious stories. Like there's a lot about environmentalism and like global warming and just like there's a whole episode about like there's a fucking plastic island, people. We should be worried about this. You know, like these are all really good, strong ideas. Just what the fuck? Why can't I remember anything that happens in this series? It's really sad. Kills me. Kind of the poster child for, yes, diversity in front of and behind the camera is important. It's also important to make sure it's good.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about your history of Pakistan episode if everything about that is cringe as fuck.
Oof. Anyway.
Steve has dubbed you not based. Steve has dubbed you cringe. Let that be your
Not based. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
But it's like the fucking end of time scene where it's like Ted be like, "Back into the war, Rassilon! Back into hell!" It's like, "You're cringe, Kindle! Back into hell!"
I just want a scene of the 12th Doctor doing his like cold open lectures, and on a big whiteboard it just says cringe.
Cringe, Clara.
I've searched eons for cringe.
Clara, don't make me box you like a fish.
Number 3, Alfie.
Yeah, Alfie, what's your number 3?
Number three for me. Well, this was a time where I got to go through something which I go through pretty regularly, but I think this was the one where like I went through it the most. Like, I just had the time to go through it completely, and I'm doing so many projects on this series. Like, I always like to have it like pretty fresh in the mind. But I went through Dragon Ball, the manga, beginning to end. Very nice scans, all that kind of stuff, and not just like Dragon Ball the manga. I went through GT, Super, any kind of video game and stuff, and just kind of like getting the franchise back left and right, and making sure that I'm listening to any interviews I can of Toriyama, any kind of statements in the back of pamphlets and stuff, like just really like going full thing into the series, because I've always known a lot about Dragon Ball, but I really wanted to when the pandemic came around. It was when me and Ian's writing stuff was really kind of kicking into high gear with like the Doom Saga and the initial kind of inklings of what would eventually become Yamoshi. So I really wanted to like know front to back like every part of Dragon Ball as much as I can, and that's just a lot of fun. Especially that original manga is I've only grown as I've made my own comic now, as I've been a lifelong comic fan. I've seen his kind of things. Like, every time I go back to the original Dragon Ball manga and how that is just a comic book run, which I think it never really feels. It almost feels like wrong to call it that because like especially like in the internet, we always kind of associate like manga and anime as like its own little corner. Like if you look at what it is, if you just look at like it is a comic book run from the 80s to the 90s. And if you compare it to the other things of that era, it's like, holy shit, Toriyama. You were fucking... Like, but, like, it's serious, like, and it's not even like the manga is just better than comics, because everyone that came after him to this day is still chasing that Dragon Ball high. Every other mangaka, be even people who are directly under Toriyama, like Toyotaro or something, they're all trying to capture what he did, that way he did his panels and the way he did his story, and no one can quite get it. The best mangas that come out after that in terms of shonen are the ones that I just don't even try. They'll have the influence of Dragon Ball because everything has the influence of Dragon Ball. But like something like a Naruto or a One Punch Man, where it's you can see the inspiration, but it's clearly doing its own thing. It's not trying to be Dragon Ball. It's trying to be a little bit more wordier. It's trying to be a little Naruto's trying to be a little bit more like political, intelligent. One Punch Man is trying to be more humorous than even Dragon Ball was, which is saying a lot because Dragon Ball is just fucking even up to like reading it all at once, especially when you're used to as like Dragon Ball Z, as these two separate entities, these two separate animes. It's like it's such one complete series. And there definitely are changes in art style and tone, but it feels less like a deliberate, okay, now's the part of the story where we're going to get that, than just, he's been doing this for years, he's getting older, and his tastes are changing, or he doesn't want to draw this anymore, he's more bored with this, like this, that, and that. Like, when you get to the Android arc, there's no choice of like, oh, the tone's going to be darker here to fit the story. It's just Toriyama really liked Terminator. And that was the reason when that came out. So he just wanted to make Terminator in his story. Terminator's a pretty dark movie, so like, that's just all it is. And it's just like, I love that shit. Like, that's such an autobiographical, when you're having a guy doing a manga week to fucking week. You really do get to see like the evolution of an artist like that, and it's writing and drawing it, and the art looks so good that way, and you get introduced to iconic things like Super Saiyan. Is like, I think it's probably the only thing I can think of that rivals in terms of comics Dragon Ball's influence and kind of domination of the medium is that initial Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko boom of comics where they just made all the Marvel Universe from scratch. And the art was great, and the characters were great, and they were busting out these things like it was no one's business. That, I think, is the only thing in terms of just using comics to just change the culture. And obviously the comics at that time didn't necessarily get to change America in a big bad way, but it set the seeds to now, where America is completely dominated by Marvel superheroes. Dragon Ball had more of an immediate impact on Japan, but now is getting that more international, worldwide thing to where it was a slow movement for sure, but it is an undeniable fact that Dragon Ball Superhero was the highest grossing movie in America.
Superhero fucking ruled. I don't care. That deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
So but that was like unthinkable, and like it's not even the case of where Pokemon came out, right? And there was like Pokemon Mania, and like it was like that huge fad where like the first Pokemon movie came out and it became the highest grossing anime movie. Dragon Ball doesn't really have that mania right now, but it has kind of crossed over into just, oh, I know Dragon Ball, like in the same way that someone says, oh, I know Superman, right? Like Goku, they might mispronounce his name, and they might forget which character he is, but just the idea of the spiky-haired fighter in the bright colors who like powers up or something has become like a cultural mainstay, and I think that's kind of incredible.
I'll push back on you a little bit, only insofar as touting how important Dragon Ball is to the culture, because I do think it actually had a pretty immediate effect on Western culture and comics too immediately. Because I'm sorry, but you wouldn't have Cassandra Cain without Dragon Ball. You
That's
wouldn't have
true.
90s Batman art without Dragon Ball. Damian Scott and what's his name, Scott Daniels or something like that. The two like really big 90s Batman artists, the ones that would draw the Robin book and the Batgirl book, those guys they did nothing but study the fight scenes, the fluidity and the figures of manga, and brought that over to comics. And at the time, it really didn't work for me because the rest of the industry wasn't there. The writers weren't writing for it. The layouts weren't working. The coloring wasn't making it look right. But what's his name? Damian Scott, the artist who co-created Cassandra Cain, dude's been living in Japan since like 2006 or 2007. So like that was in his DNA from the get go. And a lot of what Batman's visual language evolved into from the 90s into the 2000s, it in the same way that Bruce Lee movies influenced Neil Adams to change Batman's fight scenes in the 70s. Dragon Ball and Naruto and a lot of shonen influencing the Bat family in the 90s is what moved the character along into the 2000s. So I mean, Dragon Ball has got pretty massive wings all throughout.
I like Dragon
Yeah, I
Ball.
guess that's completely fair.
I
as
think
well.
it's cool. Vegeta's my favorite.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's the thing. Everyone's like, Vegeta's never gonna get a win. I'm like, nah. I actually don't want him to win. His sad boyness is what makes him my favorite. Like that's all it comes down to.
He's found the cure.
Yeah.
But no, like all of that is just kick ass. But I just think what helps Dragon Ball as a reading experience is it is one of those runs where I can just read it over and over again, because contrary to popular meme belief, where Dragon Ball is this like poster child for standing in a desert staring at each other angrily for 5 minutes, the manga's really, really breezy. Like the manga's so fast paced. Like every arc just flies by. Like you could literally, I think, read all of Dragon Ball up to Raditz and the Saiyan Saga in like an afternoon. Like it is fast to get through because there's not a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of huge like speechifying. It's all kind of very simple gags, and the panels on the page never really exceed 5 at most. And like it's read as if it's like animated. Like the art flows so well between panel to panel. You'll get through 10 chapters and you'll be like, that was 10? I thought that was just 1. Like, because it just boom, 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 boom. And that's something I don't think I've ever had with anything else that's a comic. In terms of just on the artwork level alone, I think Toriyama is legitimately the greatest panelist to ever draw comics, like at the moment. Like I think there are definitely better illustrators than him. I think there are definitely better storytellers than him. And that art style is very specific to Toriyama. Like it doesn't fit really anything except for Dragon Ball. But just in terms of like doing not even just action scene, but just panel to panel telling this story, Toriyama I think is just unmatched. Like that guy just fucking had something else going on. Like he was channeling into something that even he can't really do anymore. You know, like that's just like, because even in the Jocko manga, it's not quite the same as it used to be. So like, there's just something really, as an artist, kind of incredible to me about that. Of just like, this guy just figured it out, but no one can quite replicate it. And maybe that's due to the time constraints. Maybe that's due to the living arrangement. Maybe that's due to the fact that he was already financially secure when he did Dragon Ball, because he was a millionaire from Dr. Slump. Dragon Ball was just kind of like a happy accident that he was doing on the side that then blew up. But he didn't need the money for Dragon Ball. He was already very well off, and like a successful mangaka. So that's always been impressive to me, just in terms of artwork. Like I want to like fucking teach like a class on like Toriyama paddling. Like that is just, I want every Western comic book artist who is drawing a fight scene. It's like hand them like, all right, here's Goku versus Vegeta. Bolly, like read this. All right, now go draw, but like keep that in mind because I don't want to see no fucking splash page with 50 panels of dialogue on it meant to communicate an entire fight. I want to see the fight. Don't just fucking panel to panel, beat to beat. And it's hard. If you get it right, I think it really enhances the comic book medium.
I like Dragon Ball. I like
It would be
Vegeta.
good.
He's my favorite. It's funny, like Alfie and I talk about Dragon Ball so fucking much, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I've heard all this before.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dragon Ball fucking rules. Yeah, no, I'm here for that.
It's good. Yes.
Number 3.
Okay, so this is kind of a weird one. My number 3 that I started to get into a little bit more, and then I've like I've had ebbs and waves of it. Is just editing, and not just like video editing. I did a little bit of 3D editing at the beginning of the pandemic. Now I don't have 3D anymore. I got into photo editing, digital photo editing more than like, photography. And just doing a lot of that, just playing around on the computer, doing things again. So I like did all those Dragon Ball DC covers, and then like the fan art kind of dried up for a hot minute, except for today apparently. And those were a lot of fun to make. I really enjoyed making the covers, and I still do. And then I also started to kind of do some other stuff. Like I decided to make like Dragon Ball DC Lego figures, and so I did some, digital editing to create the costumes in Lego form to print off as stickers, and that's really fun. So just a lot of editing again. Like for a long while, I'd kind of just, I've always been Geeky Gentleman's been on for 10 years now, and I've been editing the whole time, but not really doing much else outside of that. So it was kind of just fun to get into and learn different techniques and stuff that I haven't really played with in a while. So doing a little bit of editing here and there.
Editing always stressed me out, so I can't imagine doing that for comfort.
I don't know, man. It's like, it's fun. It's just, you just sit on the computer and play. Try to like figure out how to make this good. Like during the very beginning of the pandemic, like lockdown, I started working on covers, and like initially I started doing it as just like a way to zone out and listen to an audiobook. But then after a while, like I'd start to like listen to sections of the audiobook and be like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Because I was like so deeply focused and like getting into a zen place with editing and trying to figure out how to like, what can I do to make this look like a more cohesive image kind of thing. And that was just a lot of fun. It was, and the funny thing is, the audiobook I was listening to at the time was fucking 1001 Arabian Nights, and I just kept like tuning in to like the most racist parts. It was like, okay, kind of done with this. There's only so many times you can hear, and then the Negroes raped her, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking good. Like I listened to all of the original Tarzan novel, and that got to be pretty bad. But then I started listening to 1001 Arabian Nights, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is worse. Like, at least Tarzan had moments that, like, outside of the racism were vaguely interesting and, like, thought-provoking. This is just fucking trash.
I watched the original King Kong movie a little while ago, and I was shocked at just how racist that movie is.
Yeah, no, that's not surprised. I've got it. I've got, like, a steel book of the original King Kong that I got while I was working at Goodwill, and I was like, I should sit down and watch this, bitch. I should sit down and watch this. And, like, every time I see, like, a clip from King Kong, I'm like, maybe not.
It's annoying because, like, you know me, I am not the guy to be like, oh, this isn't standard to our culture today, so I'm not gonna like hold a thing that has racist tendencies against it if it was made in the fucking 30s. But oof, is King Kong racist? Dude doesn't even look like a monkey. You know what they were going for.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, just been doing little bits, pieces of editing, and it's just been fun. I've just been enjoying myself. It's a good time. I recommend finding a zen way to edit things.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. I wish I could afford a 3D program again, because I'd like to get back into 3D modeling and stuff, but I learned on Maya, and Maya's fucking expensive. I don't know why they didn't just teach us on Blender, because, like, it would have cost the college less money, and it's still just as accessible, and relatively speaking, still just as powerful a program. They really should have just taught us fucking Blender. Yeah. I found a license for Maya because, like, I'd looked it up years ago. I was like, yeah, Maya license is like $5,000, so guess I'm never getting that. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, they have an independent hobbyist license for Maya. That's great. What's the requirement? So you can't make more than $10,000 off of it. I'm like, yep, that's fine with me. All right, how much does it cost? $300. That's still a lot of fucking money, guys.
It is still really fucking expensive.
Yeah, so I don't know. One day I'll get it back. It's been almost 2 years since I've done any Maya editing now, and I do miss it a bit.
Pirate Bay.
Nope, Pirate Bay doesn't work for shit like that anymore. It really doesn't.
Wow.
Like,
Keygens are not a thing anymore, I guess?
they are, but like since so many things have gone to like subscription-based models and stuff,
That's true, yeah.
you just can't get away with it the same way you used to. They got too wise to us.
Responsible man.
Yep. They got too wise. Eventually, I'm sure there's some way that you can crack the subscription model, but I'm not that savvy anymore, you know? I used to know like the fucking patches and how to do the keygens and shit. I don't fucking know what I'm doing anymore. And you know what? I tried it, by the way, Steve. That's why I know. I tried it with Maya, and it did not go well.
Very fair, very fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my number 3. I didn't imagine there'd be much to talk about with it. We've been talking for a hot minute, and we're only on number 3.
Yeah, no, we will attempt not to make this a 2-hour video, I hope.
Anyway.
Number 2?
Yep.
So my number 2 is starting last December. I decided to go through the American Film Institute's top 100 movies of all time. And I'm trying to get them all done before the end of this December so I could do them all in a year. But that's been really, really fun. That's been really relaxing. It's been really enjoyable. It's been really educational. There's a lot you learn watching the so-called 100 greatest movies of all time, not because they're necessarily the 100 greatest movies of all time. There's a lot on that list where you do sort of feel like, okay, I see the sort of political compromises that had to be made here. But Jesus, do you learn a lot? Like the way the movies in that list talk to each other, the way that modern movies are influenced by them, the kinds of like callbacks and references and things you see as patterns all throughout history, just getting started in one place or the other. Seeing the context of like go-to movie quotes and learning the history behind them. One of my favorites is in Casablanca, everyone knows the line, play it again, Sam. And lo and behold, play it again, Sam is not actually a line in that movie. In the same way like Beam Me Up, Scotty's not a line in Star Trek, and Elementary, My Dear Watson isn't a line in the original Sherlock Holmes. That got started much later when someone did like a parody skit of Casablanca. They never actually say that. But in the original version of Casablanca, there was a script or there was like a rehearsal or something that they didn't end up using this line. But the original line that Humphrey Bogart had to Sam the pianist wasn't "play it again, Sam." It was "play it again, you dumb bastard."
Jeez.
And they cut that for obvious reasons. But that's really funny in my brain, because you can tell that would not have caught on the way "play it again, Sam" has. But I've been going through that. I think I'm in the 70s now. I don't remember how far I've gotten through. But for a while there, I was watching like anywhere from like 3 to 5 movies on the list a week. Like it was just like once a night I would just pop a movie from that list on. but I've been really, really enjoying it. It's so much fun to go back through and watch these really great films and like force yourself to engage with them in a way that you don't with modern fiction anymore, because a lot of this is stuff we just don't do anymore. We don't turn we the way that fiction has evolved just means that you're not preserving certain older forms of storytelling, not because of better or worse, but just because of like functionality. Like it doesn't make sense to adapt a play like Virginia Woolf now the way it did in like the 60s, because plays have gotten way more complicated. So like the idea of like setting a whole story in one room like 12 Angry Men, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense anymore. But watching it happen in real time is really cool. Seeing like the history of the movie blockbuster with like Jaws and Star Wars is really interesting. We don't really do historical epics anymore, in part because every movie is the length of an epic nowadays. But like watching a real epic in that context with overtures and intermissions and stuff, it's a lot of fun. I have been really, really enjoying it. There's a lot of stuff on the AFI Top 100 that you could probably skip if you wanted to. But there is a great deal of movies on that list that I'm surprised I liked as much as I did. I saw Citizen Kane for the first time because of the list, and I went into that movie thinking, I'm sure I will like this movie, but I am positive I will walk away and say, there's no way that's the greatest film of all time. And then after I watched it, I was like, I completely understand why some people consider this the greatest movie of all time, because it is masterfully made for when it came out. So like stuff like that is just legitimately really surprising and really interesting. And the variety of shit you get, like Do the Right Thing on one end, Casablanca on another end, and It's a Wonderful Life on yet a third end, and Titanic. Like there's just so much. There's so much on the list of so many genres, and then there's still so much it's missing. So digging into that has just been a lot of fun.
Dope.
That one that when you said you were doing that, Steve, I was like, oh fuck, that's such a cool idea.
It's so fun, dude. I swear. Everyone at one point in their life should like look through that list and just see like, here are the ones I've seen, here are the ones I've not seen, and try to pick one that they haven't seen, just for the experience, because it's so much fun.
Yeah, that does sound really cool. Yeah, it's one of those things I definitely would want to do at some point when I'm more settled, because it's a cool ass idea.
Yeah.
Alfie, you're number 2.
Okay, my number 2. So my thing outside of that is kind of similar to Ian's editing one, where I've just been able to write a lot more. And in terms of like, I feel like as a writer, these last two years specifically, I think like 3 years, I think I was still in kind of some of the same places, but I think in the last 2 years has been like a sizable jump in quality for me as like a writer, and in terms of like understanding structure more, understanding good dialogue, understanding pacing, knowing how to kind of get out of my own ruts, self-examine, and I've been very thankful to have you guys and lovely audience to kind of be a good gauge, be a good sounding board. My wife Erin, she's been really good as like a proofreader for a lot of things, because she's very unafraid to just tell me when something's shit, like something just sucks. And I think that's a very good gauge, because even if I don't necessarily agree with her on some things, I think if anyone like will read something and just has like a strong reaction, like no, this is kind of awful, then it is worth having a second look at and then see if you can reconfigure it. Yeah, I'm gonna mush for you a bit. You're probably like the best like collaborator I could have ever asked for. Wonderful editor, wonderful guy. Doesn't at all let me get away with my bullshit. Like you'll always challenge me on things, but you'll also be very supportive if I get a good idea or something. So I always appreciate that. And Steve, when we were doing the webtoon, that helped a lot as well. You were very succinct. You were very clear, and you understand the comic medium probably more than anyone else fucking alive on the planet. So, you were very helpful in getting that to be as good as it could be. So big thanks to all of you guys, and I still want to keep going and stuff like that, but I feel like at this point, I feel so much more confident as a writer and being able to do that more, and I want to just keep doing more and more and get better and better. But it feels like this has been like my training arc, where like I've gone from amateur who had some good ideas and some good like lines here and there to like someone who can actually oh no, this was legitimately like really fucking strong, like kind of thing, on a more consistent basis. So I'm been very happy to kind of have that metamorphosis.
Ian, you can probably attest to this more than I can, just because you guys work together writing wise. But Alfie, you're like we were talking about earlier. Your like draft 1 to draft 2 progress is always so much fun to watch because like I'll read something in a first draft and I'll say like this like line doesn't work or something, and then draft 2 comes around and it's like the hardest line of all time. You just upgrade it so hard so quickly. You do complete 180s, and I kind of love that.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. I think you just sometimes it's just like because when we write, it's just kind of sometimes you just the best way to do it is just to get something on the page. It's just like the vague idea of what you want, and even if it's not the perfect line, it's just like being able to move forward to the rest of the script, and then you'll get back to it. But then once you can actually sit down and look at that specific line and kind of craft it out, sometimes it just takes like being away from it for like a day or two.
I agree. No, Alfie's writing is just an incredible thing to read and get to be a part of. He's good. He's good at his job. Like we were joking in the group chat the other day, but I was like, "No, fucking like I was like, it's the best Joker episode ever written by best Joker story ever, and I did all of it, and Alfie helped or whatever." But like legit, it's legit impressive to see like how great of like partner in writing he is and has evolved beyond too. Like because we wrote the Doom Saga all together, and then we took a long break and wrote the saga yet to be named. And like it was kind of interesting because it was a little more frustrating. It wasn't as easy because like he was just calling me on more than I had gotten used to, and so it was like it's just that evolution, growing more confident and becoming more pronounced and no, I know this will work. You have to trust me. I know this will work. Like, God, what was it? I fucking yelled at him one night because he wouldn't let me use the word eek. I was like, can you just fucking stop and let me use a goddamn... It's just... And like in retrospect, like as soon as I said it, I was like, no, that was just frustration and getting like called out more and more because I wasn't as used to it. But no, it was an interesting moment. It's interesting to see how people grow and just the breaks and stuff. I still think that the original sentence that had the word eek in it was good, but it was an interesting conversation if nothing else.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where being able to have the time of the pandemic really like let me kind of I got so much one of our first conversations when we were doing DBDC with Ian was about like the dialogue of characters and like a character being written to sound like how they said, and the example I used was like Goku and Frieza is like a Frieza line should never sound like a Goku line, and a Goku line should never sound like a Frieza line. Like if you write their dialogue out, you write Goku's dialogue out like how he talks it, it's kind of hicky. If you write Frieza's out like it's very just eloquent and very polite and very delicate, it makes the script so much stronger because that's that character. No matter who voices that line in isolation, that's that character's voice. And for a lot of other characters, it's harder to do. Like we struggle on Wonder Woman a lot, but when we get it, it fucking hit. Like we get it, and that's something I think over the pandemic I've really even more like heightened on to where I will get up on Ian's ass for like eek or fucking this other shit and stuff like here like man I think was or like little guy or something. Like it's just things that in the moment it's like really this fucking who cares. But like when you look at it as the harder piece, it is shaping the character as a living being, and it's fucking just a tool for us to talk about things. But in the same way we started this, Steve, you were talking about how like people on the internet will talk about these characters as if they're like real people. Like this character wouldn't say that. I actually do think there is like a really good writer, I think, can get away with both. To where if you get that character's voice, you can make them kind of do and say anything, as long as it's still, like this character would say it, like this kind of feels right. Even if it doesn't, even if you're just tricking them fucking blind, and you're gonna have Batman do a fucking drug trafficking ring, even if you're just absolutely soiling the legacy, if you get it, if you do the magic right, if you pull the wool over their eyes, if you make them believe in it as a writer, you can kind of get away with anything. And I think that's a tool that really will carry a lot of stuff. Like, even if your plot's not the greatest, most intricate thing in the world, if it's just fun to have your characters do stuff and just like being in that space, you're kind of set. Like that, you've kind of already like got a story there from interesting character interactions.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the job of the writer is just to convince you of what their idea for this world should be, and your mileage is always going to vary on what that interpretation is. But a good writer, like you said, can kind of pull that wool over your eyes and take you along for the ride. And sometimes people will read things and be like, "Yeah, that's not in character at all, but it was really fucking good." And that's really hard to do. But when you nail it, man, is it special. Anyway,
So
Yeah.
what's the? I guess we're on the first one now.
Ian's number 2, right? Or did we already do Ian's
No,
number two?
my number 2. I've not talked about my number 2.
Oh, okay.
This one's a little more recent. This it's funny I got made fun of for this one because I started it so early. But getting a little bit back into cosplay this year, more in particular. I've posted some updates. I showed the photos to you guys in our group chat and stuff. But yeah, I decided. I think it was back in like May, or maybe even before that. What our Halloween costumes were going to be this year. I was talking with Haley while we were on a walk. I'm like, what do I want to do for Halloween this year? We all want to be like the Doctor, different versions. And she's like, oh my god, that would be so funny. And I'm like, yeah, I could do 10 and you could do 13 and Leah could be 6 because of the blonde hair. It'd be fun. And my 10 cosplay ended up just hitting fucking disaster after disaster, so I abandoned that one and just went for 4. But still, it's like a really fun like project, and I'm still working on it right now, and I was like getting frustrated with it, but like in a good way where it's like, you want it to work, you want it to look good, you also don't want to spend $7 billion on it. At one point working on, I finished Leah's Sonic Lance because the 6th Doctor's got to be extra and not have a sonic screwdriver. Finished Leah's Sonic Lance over the weekend, and at one point I just looked at Haley and I was like, I have spent more money trying to craft this out of like 3D printed parts and buying paints and electronics to go in it than I would have if I just bought a replica. So I've spent more money on an objectively worse version, and I have no pride in, oh, well, I made this one myself. So I looked at Haley and I'm like, next time I'm doing one of these, just look at me and say, Ian, fucking buy it, and don't make it your goddamn self. But like, there's a fun in the frustration. There's a fun behind the story of a cosplay and the process, There's like, even as it's like, even though it's still frustrating, like in the moment, it's still frustrating. But the like story behind it and getting it to completion is always just an interesting and fun thing in and of itself.
There is just something about like DIY stuff in general, which includes cosplay, where it's like trying to solve a problem and having your own like little imperfect stamps on the product and being like, this I got this material at this store and I glued this together on this day when something else happened, and like it's fun. It makes the object more than an object. It makes it like a little ball of memories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just problem solving and trying to figure out how to do things, and yeah, it's just been fun. It's just been fun to get back into. It's been a while since I've done a cosplay, because I did like the Zorro one a couple years ago and stuff, and I did one for Haley's Android 18, and that was fun, but I don't know. It's been a couple years since I did that, and this is just fun to get back into again. So yeah, cosplay. Cosplay is fun. I enjoy myself. I'm actually pretty proud of my Fourth Doctor costume. I bought 2 different jackets for it, and I ended up having, I ended up buying a hat, even though I thought my whole reason for doing the Fourth Doctor is, well, I already got a hat that kind of works, and then, I bought a hat and ended up going with the hat I already had. It just, everything, just little fun stories that always exist behind a thing. It's a good time.
I love it, man. It's fantastic.
It's been fun watching the progress for sure.
Yeah.
The sonic screwdriver you sent in the group chat was the coolest fucking thing ever.
Thank you. Yeah, it's done. That's the best part. Oh, I didn't tell you. So I gave it to Leah, and she immediately tried to put it in her mouth because she thought it was a toothbrush, since I used one of her old toothbrushes to make it light up. And I was like, no, don't put it in your mouth. It's your screwdriver. It's your screwdriver. Look, see? And I went and grabbed Haley's and mine. I was like, see, Mom has one, and Dad has one, and now you have one. And then she just wanted to play with ours instead. And I told her, no, this one's yours. This one's yours. And she started crying. I was like,
Inwardly, she's like, why do I get the Sixth Doctor was a highly controversial role. Like, she's like, clearly, in another life, she was like a stan. And she's like, oh, Papa's gonna make me a Doctor Who outfit, finally. I really hope I get to be 8. There's a very underrated 6! Yeah!
well,
So tragic.
she shouldn't have been blonde. I don't know. She clearly had a choice between Haley's hair color and my hair color. She went with Haley's. Whose fault is that?
Chose the wrong side.
The impossible kid.
Love it.
Yeah. So cosplay. Cosplay's been fun. Doing Doctor Who cosplay is fun.
Number 1?
Yep, number 1s.
Alright, cool. So my number 1 has been my number 1 for 2 years now, so it was never gonna get displaced. But and Alfie knows this because I will not shut up about them. But my number 1 has been the Reckless books by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. The first one came out in the midst of the pandemic, and then they've basically come out 1 volume at a time, basically uninterrupted, every 3 or 4 months. And they're just these great 120, 130 page original graphic novels, all in that classic pulp noir adventure style. And each one of them are just these quiet, fun, twisty-turny mysteries with the main character just meditating about life. I wrote a whole piece for it about it on Comic Book Herald. I reviewed the last 2 of them on Comics Bookcase as they came out. I've just been fucking in love with these books, and there's something about the way they have these quiet moments of just saying something so deeply human that will just kind of haunt you for days at a time, and it's so interesting and so moving. There's something about being in the middle of a pandemic with people dying and being isolating and missing your friends and your family, and then seeing a scene with Ethan Reckless talking about how when he was a kid he used to have this best friend that he knew and did everything with, and then one day that friend just disappeared and moved away, and it was the worst thing that kid ever felt. And now he's this 40-year-old man. He's like, I don't even remember that guy's name anymore because it's just pointless to remember. And there's just that quiet level of yeah, at a certain point you just get kind of old, and the things that kind of felt like they ruined your life when you were young, you can't even muster the feeling of why it felt like it ruined your life in that moment anymore, because you're just getting old. And that's just what getting old is that at some point the feelings kind of dull out. They're not as intense as they used to be, and that's a blessing and a curse depending on how you look at it. And each of the books just have so many little moments like that are so fucking good. I love those books. There has not been a single day where I haven't thought about the Reckless books and wanting to reread them since I read the first one. Just every day, if someone asked me, do you feel like reading Reckless? The answer is yes. I've read the first one 3 times now. I've read all 4 of them at least twice each, and 3 times for the first one and 3 times for the third one. The third one's my favorite, Destroy All Monsters. It's super, super good. And because they're old pulp novels, they're not like in volumes. They're literally just each one-shot stories. So there's Reckless. There's Destroy All Monsters. There's Friend of the Devil. There's The Ghost in You, and then we're about to get a new one next month, which is called Follow Me Down. And they're all just one-shot random ones. You can just literally go to a bookstore and just pick up a copy of any one of them, and it'll explain everything you need to explain. They're just fun, twisty, turny detective stories, but definitely worth checking out. They're such good, solid, soulful comfort food.
Dope.
Yeah, fantastic. I especially love hearing you talk about them because it makes Steve happy. Even though they're so sad. So Steve is a very interesting being. The sadder the work, the happier he is.
I know, isn't it weird? I just want to consume sad things for the rest of my life. It'll put a smile on my face.
Oh my goodness. There's
I'm
something
secretly
deeply wrong with that.
I don't know, man. There's you gotta read these books. I wish more people were. I mean, I know a lot of people are checking them out because they sell out as soon as they come out every time. But I wish more people were talking about the way these books like kind of feel with this particular mood, because they work so hard to kind of give you these really bitter truths that over time kind of make you feel kind of sweet or happy in a way. So like The Ghost in You is a story that focuses on his secretary / sidekick, and she solves a mystery on her own. And it's just a story about her and her estranged mother and coming to grips with that relationship, and how that she kind of grew up without a mom and feeling like she didn't really have that sort of strong figure in her life, and she kind of raised herself. And at the end of the story, after everything's kind of resolved, Ethan talks to her about it, and Ethan's like, you spend this entire story talking about how much you hate this girl's mom. And then at the end of the story, Ethan's like, I kind of like your mom, because if she wasn't so shitty to you, then you wouldn't be where you are right now, and I like where you are right now. And like, that sounds like really obnoxious to say to a person, especially after they vent about a person they hate. But after a while, you get some distance from it, and you're like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, all the shitty things that happened to me are the reason I'm here right now. And I'm happy where I am right now, so do I really hate the shitty things that happened to me? It's just comforting, you know?
It's an interesting thought. I don't know.
Very good books. Alfie, you're number one.
My number one.
No, he was saying you are number one.
You are number one. You're number one in the group chat right now. You're in first name.
As I'm fighting Kakarot, fucking Kimbo. Like, geek for fun. You write not for honor or for your own enjoyment, but for the thrill of the writing. You are. As I'm fucking biting Alan Moore in the head.
No.
I don't know. Give us your energy, we'll defeat him once and for all. Alan Moore, I hope one day you're reincarnated as a good class.
I'm gonna commission some fan art from Alfie. That's just gonna be Alfie. I want you to draw a picture of you biting Alan Moore on the head. Let's do it. No, wait. No, actually, no. We've already decided on this. I'm gonna commission you to make a fusion of Grant Morrison and Alan Moore that's called Grant Morrison.
Yeah, there we go. That's the real one. All right, my one I won't go too long because I don't want to kill everyone of embarrassment. But my number one has got to be my wife. Getting to do the pandemic and have this whole relationship form and fall in love and go over and have all these new experiences and new things, like every day talk and as many times as we can, go on call and watch movies or play video games or just talk and shoot the shit. In the happiest times of my life, and I was coming after a really bad, kind of just moody time. So I can't be in a better place. So Aaron, if you listen to this, leave a comment because Ian needs them. Thank you for making my life so much better. So yeah, that's my number one.
Aww.
It's adorable.
Yeah, no, see, this is like one of those things where now I'm not going to let Haley listen to this episode, right? Because you're going to have said that, and I'm not going to put her, and she's going to be like, well, you didn't see the thing.
you didn't just meet Haley and Ford get married in the pandemic, so you're allowed. Haley, if you listen to this, let Ian off.
Well, like
he
it's,
gets the
but then it's
lifelong
gonna be,
pass.
well, you didn't put Leo down as anything. I'm like, well, it's fucking
Oh
not the
god,
premise
actually,
of the
yeah.
thing. Alfie just cheated.
Screw you guys and your wives. I'm just gonna read Ed Brubaker for the rest of my life.
Ed Brubaker is your wife, Ian. Shut the fuck up. And who's the artist on Reckless?
It's all Sean Phillips. If it's an Ed Brubaker book, 9 out of 10 times it's gonna be Sean Phillips.
Sean Phillips is your mistress.
Eh,
I don't know.
So Ian, is Haley your number one?
No, Haley's not my number one because that wasn't the fucking premise of the video.
I'm sorry, Ian. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I feel bad.
Is it Leah?
No, because that's not the premise of the video.
Is it me?
Yes, it's you, Steve. Steve Baxi.
Hey.
You're my number one. No, my actual number one is fucking Legos.
Hey, okay, no, that makes sense. I'm here for the Legos.
Like
Lego hat. Your daily Lego hat is the greatest thing on Twitter.
no, it's seriously like literally the best money I've ever spent in my entire life was buying that hat.
So good.
Because it's just fucking like it's so dope, and it gives me like as I've been collecting or playing with Legos for basically my entire childhood, so I just have a lot of them still because I kept a couple things and they were all still like a lot of them were still over at my mom's. And then I started like recollecting little bits and pieces in like 2013, 2014. And then it just kept like expanding and expanding. And I kept doing more and more. And then I just have like these fucking scenes. Like I've got this whole Spider-Man scene. I've got this whole fucking Green Lantern scene. I've got like a general DC Universe scene. And they're really fucking cool and fun. And I just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just into it now. And then I just saw the fucking hat, and it was I got it at, like I'd seen it at the mall, at the Lego store that then moved like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which was weird, but whatever. I'd seen it at the mall and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's like $25. I don't know if I should spend that money. And then like the next week, my fucking lizard died. And so I was like, all right, you know what, fuck it. I think it was later that day. Went to the fucking mall and bought the hacks. I'm like, I need something to fucking cheer me up right now. And it's literally brought me like a lot of fucking joy to just, you know, people fucking love it. I get compliments on it all the time, which is just super nice. Like I was, my car's having this weird issue, so I went and dropped it off at the mechanic, and I went to like a Subway a couple blocks away and was just sitting there waiting for Haley to come pick me up. And this guy's like mowing the lawn, and he just like drives by and sees my hat. He's like points to the hat and goes like thumbs up because he liked it. And fucking, I went to go pick up a prescription at the grocery store a couple weeks ago, and I had like Batmite and Batman on my hat, and fucking like the dude, the pharmacist working the register stopped everyone else in the pharmacy from doing their job so they could come over and look at me.
No, screw the guy with a heart condition. Look at Batmite.
Yeah, pretty much that. It was so fucking good. Like one of the guys comes over and is like, yo, he's the hugest Lego fan I know, and he comes over and sees us like, where did you get that? It's just been an absolute dynamite hit. Like people at work really like it. I've got people that come up to me and like, what is it today? It's just super fun. So it's like it's been a great way to just integrate and use a lot of the stuff. And I mean, it is becoming a bit of a problem because now I'm like in a fucking cycle of like, well, now I need fucking to buy Legos so I have things that match my different t-shirts, and now I need to buy t-shirts to match my different Legos. I say as I'm scrolling through eBay looking for a Doctor Who t-shirt, which is shockingly difficult to find. So that's nice.
And the BBC will like hunt you down and actually pay you money to not wear Doctor Who merch.
Dude, you know how fucking crazy it is that like everywhere I go, I'll look just to see if they have one. And there will be like fucking t-shirts for shows and franchises that have not been on the air or had new material in years. And we are less than a month away from the like new regeneration of a Doctor on film, right? And there's no fucking merch. I'm just like, what the fuck?
No one hates Doctor Who more than the BBC.
I mean, pretty much.
At the end of the day, what is the Doctor's greatest threat if not the British populace at large?
Yeah, so, but anyway, Lego stuff's been fun. It's been inspiring me to, like, make new stuff. Like, did I ever show either of you guys the Death Proof car?
No, what the fuck? Did you make that?
Yeah, I made the car from Death Proof, and I challenged myself a little bit extra because I found an old Lego pullback car. So, like, you know the toys where, like, you put the four wheels down, you pull it back a little bit, and it actually shoots and drives forward? Yeah, I did the Death Proof car with that.
Oh, that's hype.
Yeah, no, it's fucking great. I love it. It's just like all the little nerdy things that I fucking, because I had a Death Proof t-shirt, so I was like, oh, let's see if I can make a build of a car, and I fucking did it, and I'm proud of this thing. It's awesome.
You kind of inspired me because I was at the mall the other day and I saw the Lego the Batman Batmobile, and it was only like $30. I'm like, you know, this is really cool, and I like this, and I want it, but I don't feel like spending the money right now. But hearing you talk about Legos, I really think I'm just gonna go to the mall tomorrow and go buy the Lego Batman car.
Dude, just fucking do it, because, like, there's something just so, like, alright, so you're fucking, like, you know, comic book store, oh, sorry, you're fucking, like, comic book store, statues, or whatever, like, those are all cool, those are all great, don't get me wrong, but, like, you take it out of the box, you spend 5 minutes setting it up, you put it on a shelf, it's done forever, right? That's just what those are. Whereas Legos, you get like that, there's something to that experience of just sitting down and building it piece by piece, and just like there's something to that experience that I've always loved since I was a kid, and it's just fun to be back into it. And I'm just challenging myself. Like I was looking through my pieces the other day when I was making Lego Jumpa, which I'm still not 100% a fan of. Side note, it's absolute bullshit that Jumpa isn't in the Super Pets movie, and I like is my legit complaint about that film. Other than that, like I was sitting there, you know, working on stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I've got this like piece from this Joker Bionicle my mom got me years ago. You know what that'd be fucking great for is a Joker mobile, because he always put his face on the front of him. So I'm trying to like brainstorm how to do a Joker mobile with that as like the, you know, the centerpiece of it, and have the scale actually look like, you know, good.
Maybe you can try and recreate the Joker mobile from that episode of the animated series with the Joker Casino.
That might be an idea. I might have to look up some refs. That's a good idea.
That's a pretty simple design too, I think. Like, it's not super complicated. It's just mostly purple with a big Joker face.
Yeah. The problem is I don't have a lot of purple Legos.
That's an easy enough problem to solve.
Yeah. But no, so it's just fucking building Legos. Legos are the shit. If anyone wants to make me happy, just buy me Legos. If anyone really, really wants to make, wants to do a double dip for a gift for both Ian and Leah, someone buy us the Lego Moana set with Moana and Maui. So that way we can have those, because I've seen that set and it's a little bit pricey since it's a retired set at this point. Don't buy it off eBay. And I'm just like, man, I just want to fucking put Maui and Aquaman on a hat. That just sounds like a fun move.
When Wakanda Forever comes out, you'll probably be able to get a Namor one as well, so you can do like the Holy Trinity.
Oh, that'd be hype.
Yeah. I did the other day. I was like, all right, what shirt do I have today? Like, my mom got me this Lake Michigan shirt when she went to Michigan once. All right, so I put fucking Aquaman, Ariel, and Ursula on the shirt as a hat. I was like, yep, that works. I'll take it.
That's really cool. The only thing I've ever wanted from Lego, I'm not a huge Lego dude, but the one thing I always thought would be cool to have one day, and maybe when I'm all settled with Aaron, I might ask Ian for like a guide on how to make this as like a year-long project. Is there was a guy in the UK, there's a show called Blue Peter, which is like a kids show where they get like talk show hosts or whatever, and they like go to like projects or something to show off like cool stuff. and there was like a Lego one where someone had made a full Fortress of Solitude out of Lego.
Oh, that's right.
With like every like individual like Superman villain and like there's creatures in the zoo and like Phantom Zone projector and like different layers to it. And that was all out of ice, like looking Lego, so it looked really cool. Like I would like that. That would be neat to make as like a project over the years to make as many Superman rogues and stuff. Because especially like the ones that like are never gonna like a Lego Solaris or some shit. Like that would be.
Oh,
cool.
you'd have to do a brick build for that, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be you could do a lot of stuff as like just a little project to do over the years. I would like to do so. Legos be cool. I'm not as into it as you guys are, but I definitely respect the hustle and I respect the craft. And I do think it's a kick-ass little thing.
Yeah, I fucking love them. They're just dope. Like I said, grew up with them, always played with them, and just kind of slowly been rediscovering the love. And I'm pretty much just 100. Like I might be more into Legos now than I ever have been in my entire life. Which is amazing to say, certainly, but I don't know. I'm kind of proud of that fact too. So what can you say?
That's kind of been the fun of being trapped inside the last 2 or 3 years, is like discovering the things you were kind of always into and getting more into them than you ever have been in your whole life. Like I'm more into comics now than I think I've ever been in my whole life. I'm more into Yu-Gi-Oh now than I've ever been in my whole life. I'm more into like movies and Doctor Who, and like all of my hobbies have just gone up an entire level lately, which has kind of been fun, and I'm enjoying that experience. And I'm sure as time goes on, some of these are gonna have to peter in and out. Like some things like will not be able to financially keep up with versus other things. Like there will come a day when I have to choose between a new Batman comic and a new Yu-Gi-Oh card, and the Batman comic will probably win. But for right now, just kind of being stuck inside and having like very close proximity to people at all times, being away from like general large gatherings and shit, not going out for like concerts and shit like that very often or anything. It's nice to just have like, here's a game night where we all play Yu-Gi-Oh, or here's a day where we all get on call and talk about a movie or something. Or having all of these backlogs of comics to like work through and stuff. It's been nice. It's been enjoyable. And then also just like seeing a friend who has a hobby and being like, I'm gonna steal that hobby for myself.
You steal the Lego hobby, Steve. You get a Lego hat too, and then when we hang out again in the future, we'll wear our Lego hats together.
Is that just at the Lego store? Like, can I literally just go to the Lego store at the mall and buy a Lego hat?
No, because it is not official. I can send you the link to the website, but I don't think you can buy them off the website. I think they only sell to like people, because there's like official Lego stores that have like the Lego brand on the sign and everything, and then there's like independently owned Lego stores that can sell some like that off-brand stuff.
If you can like send me a link to where I can get it, I would have no problem getting it. I just have no idea where to get it.
Yeah.
Fucking Breaking Bad, but it's just Ian teaching Steve how to build Legos.
I am kind of here for it because I liked Legos a lot as a kid. I've always hated the Star Wars prequels, but the Star Wars prequel Lego sets were fucking fire. I love those. I played a shit ton with Bionicles as a kid.
Ah, dude,
Legos
fucking
are great.
like it's so funny. I got a lot of my Lego collection back, and I was like, well, here's the bin that all the Bionicle stuff is in. I don't really want to play with these anymore or use these for anything. I'm just going to put this one in the attic. Like, damn. Kind of wish I didn't invest so heavily in Bionicle.
Bionicles commercials back in the day.
Oh,
used to
yeah.
get really
fucking
hard.
slap, dude.
They used to have like fucking Move Along by All American Rejects playing, and like you'd have them like pick up their mask battle worn from the ground, and the song would just go, even when your hope is gone. It's so fucking good. Oh, I loved it. They used to have movies and shit too. I don't know what happened to those.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of fucking, did you ever hear anything about Galdor, Steve? Do you remember anything about Galdor growing up?
That sounds so familiar. I feel like if you describe it, maybe.
Okay, so it's really just this fucking fascinating, like, fuck up on Lego's part, right? So it's the early 2000s, and they're thinking of like, all right, we're not doing the best in sales. What do we need to do? Maybe we need to move away from just the classic castles brick kind of thing.
Oh, fuck, I remember this.
Yeah. So they send out two different teams to like just brain. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and it's just gonna have the Lego brand on it. And both of them independently come up with the idea of buildable action figures. And one of those becomes Bionicle, and the other one becomes Galdor, with like a live action television show tie-in and all these like things going for it, like because the company like looked at it and was like, yeah, this is gonna be the successful one, and it's just a fucking
Galdor?
trash.
The Galdor toys look like the kind of shit you would see in Sid's house from Toy Story.
Yep.
These are fucking nightmare fuel.
I know. And then
A fucking poor screaming man with like a fucking helicopter blade for an arm. What the fuck was that?
Yep.
Him with his fucking khaki pants and shit. It was so weird.
Galador Legos, like some of the stuff is so funny. There's people that have like made intentionally cursed Galador, and they're so fucking good.
The show used to be on Fox Kids, I think, back in the day.
Yeah, it's a fucking trip of a thing where you could just change his body parts and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's not like the more human you make it, the weirder it gets, guys. But okay.
I can't comprehend that any studio executive saw Galdors and Bionicles and was like, Bionicles isn't winning this fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Bionicles still go hard. I don't care what anyone says. That was the coolest fucking shit as a kid.
The first two waves were the best. Then things got like... Because, like, the cool thing about the first two waves, right, is, like, they still worked as, like, action figures. Because they wouldn't, like, fall apart. But then, like, after wave 2 or 3, they just started getting, like, too complicated to the point where they just shattered.
They started doing the almost Digimon style of like every wave became like a weird new theme, and so like you got like the weird animalistic Bionicles after a while and stuff, and like some of the more complicated sets would have like a traditional action figure that was kind of small, but then you'd build like a big monster thing that it could ride on and stuff like that. And it got way out of hand way too quickly. They kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, no. I just remember, like, getting them in at Goodwill for years and just being like, God, these things are just... You touch them and they just crumble. Like, there's too much... There's no weight distribution, you know? Like, this is just fucking trash compared to Wave 1 Bionicles. And maybe that was just me being an old man, but nah.
When they started getting those little blaster balls, that was the beginning of the end, because that wave initially was fine. But the moment you added anything besides the blaster to a figure like that, it would not stand up. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
And those blasters broke really easily.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, Alfie's like, please shut the fuck up about Bionicle.
No, Bionicle's cool. I like Bionicle. I remember watching those commercials as well.
Yeah. Did you guys get the fucking like little mini CD that you put in the computer and
Yeah.
yeah. Bionicle.
I'll make us review one of the CGI Bionicle movies.
Oh my fucking god! I am so down to review Bionicle: The Mask of Light. You have no idea.
My name too. The story of the poor little kid who gets the golden mask and becomes the coolest of cool Bionicle.
Yeah.
Or this fucking surfboard sword thing. Oh my god. That was the coolest shit ever.
Narrator voice. It was indeed not the coolest shit ever.
No, you shut the fuck up. It was great. 5 out of 5. I know we're not reviewing it today, but I'm telling it now. 5 out of 5 surfboard sword things.
Alright.
I'm picking that for History Month.
My favorite month, Steve. I don't want to follow the rules of this month. I'm just gonna bullshit some stuff every year. Anyway, is that the end? Are we complete? Have we reached completion?
I have climaxed, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've listed like no man has listed before.
Yeah. Watch Mojo eat your heart out. No one watches them anymore. I don't believe that anyone is subscribed to Watch Mojo.
in terms of picking the next thing? I don't know who's next anymore.
It's probably me. I need to look something up real quick because I've made a promise and I need to check the thing before I commit to something else. Does anyone know if the Tom King Supergirl book is on DC Universe?
I don't know.
All right, so I'll just look it up.
No, yeah. Have a little look see.
Yeah, because how many issues is it? 8? 6?
It's only 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
6, 2, 4, 1, 5, 8. Okay. Next week we'll review Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King and Mitch Gerards.
No, Tom King and Bill Quisevely.
Oh, okay. Bill Quisevely. My bad.
Yeah, Mitch Gerards didn't draw that. He was too busy doing Strange Adventures at the time of that book.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. And we'll have a special guest for that one, so that'll be fun. All right.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. And until next time, everyone, I'm the Philosopher.
I am the champion of the oppressed.
And I am the pandemic erotica lover.
Sure.
You don't. That's not yours, Steve. You take that back.
Stealing hobbies left and right.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.